So master modes are on the way, and a current test version is available right now for, I believe it's Evocati members. But the leaks are all out, and people have been talking about it. And for those who don't know, master modes essentially is a change to the flight mechanics to lower the speeds and make the game far more manageable, more understandable, more approachable. It's going to lower the skill ceiling, which is a good thing, by the way. And it's going to allow players to hopefully understand flight better and make Star Citizen what it should be. A game that is easy to learn but difficult to master. Because Star Citizen currently is difficult to learn and impossible to master. So, as predicted, the Master Modes has started to do this with the very first iteration. And what else has happened that is also predicted? The whining and complaining by the top 1% of Arena Commander fighter nerds. Now, on the off chance that you are one of those top 1% Arena Commander fighter nerds, I'm not going to dispute that you're better at the game than I am. At least at light fighters anyway. I'll probably take you on in Star Marine pretty easy. But there is no dispute that you are better than I am at flying a light fighter. Or heck, any fighter for that matter. I'm more of a big ship kind of guy. But what has prevented me from wanting to go into light fighters and spend more time in Arena Commander is the current flight model. I don't have joysticks or peripherals to make the most out of it. I also don't have hundreds of hours to dedicate into getting my teeth kicked in by players who've been playing for hundreds of hours. And, quite frankly, I'm just not interested. Now, I'm not the only person that has this opinion. I'm willing to believe that the overwhelming majority of players who play Star Citizen have this opinion. I think the overwhelming majority would like to dabble in PvP, but they're completely put off to it by the current system and the current people who dominate that system. And we have a community of players here who like it the way it is. They may masquerade and pretend like they want to teach you how to play. They may put on a public face and offer training and support and help, and they might make some long-winded guides on how to get better, and they'll give silly mechanics, which are, by the way, going away with Master Modes. Silly mechanics such as tricording and 45 degrees and fighting within the pitch and all this silly wannabe DCS terminology. They might apply that to the broken flight model that we currently have to make it sound like it's more in-depth, more, what's the word here? More nuanced than it really is. They may do that, but they don't actually want you to get better. They don't want to teach you the secret sauce. They'll never share that with you. Because if they did that, then you have a chance of killing them. And they don't want that. That's when egos get bruised. Because right now, you as an average player are relying upon whatever guides the community is willing to share with you to even approach flight PvP in this game. To even approach it. That is a bad design. Any game should be easy to learn and difficult to master. If you can get in there and intuitively understand what's going on, you can play to your desired level of skill and stop. So if you're happy being average, then you can get in there as a noob, work your way to average and stop. Or if you feel like you're capable of reaching a higher level, because it's difficult to master, but not impossible to master, you can work your way up. Well, people don't want that. And I'm going to highlight and look at this Reddit post, which I think really captures the attitude here. And let me put it up on screen here. All right, so let me read this. It's a real doozy. So this is an Arena Commander player, okay? Elite, the best of the best. Okay. I'm going to translate this for everyone. The Gladius is having its two size 1 shields split between a back and front hemisphere shield. They are increasing its agility to buff it since they are nerfing the shields. It is my belief that they intend to buff its jerk profile, rate of acceleration, to be more comparable to the Arrow. I think this is what they mean by increasing its agility. Okay, well, the Gladius is getting a slight nerf. So what? Big deal. I'm tired of light fighters. I think everybody else is too. I'm especially tired of the freaking Gladius. If your game, if you go into Arena Commander and all you see is one type of ship, I think there's a problem with the game. This game has hundreds of ships, and the most common ship is a freaking light fighter, the Gladius of all things. Come on, get real. Pitch and yaw cannot be combined means they are removing the vector addition effect. Your maximum turn rate profile will now be a circle instead of a square. Currently, you turn faster along 45 angles off of your crosshair. In a light fighter, they are decreasing your turn speed by 29%. They are doing the same thing for tricording, read as, using 3 thruster inputs simultaneously. The vector addition will no longer provide increased acceleration. Good. Absolutely good. If you're here, you've probably seen my videos. I have a video about tricording. I have a video about 45ing. Those things reek of engine bug or engine limitation. They reek of engine limitation or design oversight. Very similar to how originally bunny hopping in Quake was an oversight, or skiing in Tribes 2 was an oversight and unintended. This esoteric knowledge only artificially increases the difficulty of the game because it's non-intuitive. Your average player is not going to think about that and see that and put 2 and 2 together. So 45 and tricording going away, good. And by the way, those are 2 of my most popular videos, and I'm glad to see them gone. There are currently 2 areas where skill difference is expressed in a dogfight: aim and maneuvering. Both aim and maneuvering gain in value the closer the 2 ships are. Unfortunately, by removing the optimal turn rate they are, as a side effect, removing the expression of skill through maneuvering, as you can no longer maneuver your ship off of your enemy's optimal turn rate in order to gain a turn advantage. So this all sounds really good, right? This guy is putting it out there and making it sound like this is the worst thing ever, that we're lowering the skill and whatnot. Well, in essence, you are lowering the skill and using things like the skill expression. Well, good. Absolutely. Because your average player is not going to understand that. They're not going to comprehend that. And we have to design these games around the average player. That doesn't mean you give them everything, you make it brain dead. That means you make it approachable. You make it something that they can easily comprehend and then work towards a higher level of skill. So again, this is good. And also aim and maneuvering, real quick on that one. The game currently has aim assist. And now that might be going away, but to talk about aim as an expression of skill in Star Citizen, get over yourself, alright? Get over yourself. This game has auto-aim and magnetism. It's no different than friggin' Halo or Call of Duty in that respect. Moving on. The removal of an optimal turn rate is going to cause a plummet of the skill ceiling. This is a terrible idea. It is going to feel terrible in practice, and this game will be significantly worse for it. I hope they're implementing these changes to test something. No, I disagree. And this is a very common, this person's opinion is very common, but this is what I'm really going to hone in on here. The removal of the quote-unquote optimal turn rate and the lowering of the skill ceiling is essential to the health of this game. There is no real approachable skill ceiling. The skill ceiling, I would argue, is actually very low in Star Citizen. And it's low because you as an average player reach it almost immediately. And you have to break through that ceiling to get any higher. Unless you understand what this, again, esoteric knowledge is, such as 45s and tricording and how to fight within your pitch and understanding the mechanics that are not explained of fixed forward assist, you're never going to even begin to understand the game. So this person's calling it lowering the skill ceiling. I'm calling it making it more understandable and more approachable. And then finally, if these changes are representative of their intended direction for the game's flight model, then I am very disappointed in CIG. Hard disagree. So let me sum this up. I'm going to sum this whole post up real quick. Boo-hoo, wah-wah. I will no longer be able to stomp on noobs as frequently as before. Now, I will still be able to stomp on noobs because noobs will always be noobs, but now certain noobs have a chance to best me in combat and learn everything that I know. Now, this is a good thing for Star Citizen. This is what Star Citizen has needed. If these are changes that are representative of the new flight model, this is where they're going, this is fantastic, and I hope it doesn't change. I hope that Star Citizen ignores these whiny, egotistical players, this extreme vocal minority. And if you know me, you know I'm a PvPer. I often side with the PvP player base. There is a sect of the PvP player base that is full of the most insufferable, annoying, whiny arena commander dude bros out there. And again, if you're one of those people, which you're probably not if you're listening to my channel, I know you're better than I am at that. I said that earlier. I'm not disputing your skill. But I'm not here for your personal gain. And I'm not here for my personal gain. I'm here for the health of Star Citizen. What makes this game better, so that we actually have people to play with. Another common complaint that you see is that, oh, well, this is going to limit the amount of 1v2s and 1v3s that I can win. Okay, maybe. And I would say good. Because right now, you're not actually fighting a 1v2 or a 1v3. You're fighting several different 1v1s. People might be in the area, but they can't close in with you at the current speed. They can't reliably help. Not your average player can't reliably do that. So really what happens is you like to abuse the speed of the current flight model. You like to zoom around. People get pulled out. They get put into a 1v1. You beat them. You do it over and over again. You make a YouTube montage. You think you're cool. A few other people do. And the world moves on. That is not, it sounds nice on paper. It sounds really cool. You just won a 1v4 and a 1v3. Well, here's a controversial take for you. You shouldn't. Speed should be slow enough that organization and organizational skill and numbers win. Now, people are going to go, what, you just want numbers to be the only deciding factor? No. I want organization to be the deciding factor. I want 4 unorganized players to lose against 2 organized players. I want the speeds to be slow enough so that organization and formation and teamwork can actually happen. Not a separate sect of Bushido 1v1s or 1v2s that happen out there in a dogfight. And you should want this too. Because if you're good now, you're probably going to be, not even probably, you're going to be good at master modes. If you're stomping now, you're still going to stomp people with master modes. But the difference is that players are going to be able to pose a threat to you. They're going to pose a challenge to these elite players. They're going to pose a danger. They're going to be credible. And I think that's what we're going for here. I think what we're going for is a game where you can go into a fight as a team and actually do things together as a team. Not be blinded by the speeds and flying off in different directions, doing your own thing. That's what we have currently happening here. And it is my sincere hope and belief that CIG continues down this road with master modes. I sincerely hope that they understand that the player base is looking for a more understandable and approachable flight model, and that they should absolutely ignore the top 1% of whiners within the PvP community. So this post is actually another pretty good example here, and it also comes from the modern agora that is known as Reddit. It says, LOL, tell me you're not a skilled dogfighter without telling me you're not a skilled dogfighter. Tricording is something that can be used in many ways. It could be used to escape a fight and recover. But there are a myriad of other things. As a PvPer, this combined with other changes they're making will make uninteresting, generic, and incredibly low-skilled. Using a turning, pre-nosing, and 45-degree turns for fast-paced 300M skilled, all caps by the way, positional fighting will be obsolete and absolutely kill off the PvP base. Making this yet another space dad point-and-shoot simulator. Taking the skill out of this and thus taking the training out of it will do nothing but hurt the game. You'll see. No. What we will see is we will see an increase in players trying PvP. We will see an increase in quote-unquote space dads getting out there and fighting back, or at least attempting to fight back. We will see an increase in players who have friends flying other ships other than light fighters, or players who have friends flying with their friends and light fighters and coordinating to actually fight as a team. All this crap that this clown shoe posted should just be ignored. And this is the perfect example of the insanity, the elitism, and the ego of the light fighter community. CIG should not cater to this. CIG should understand who their backers are, they should understand who their player base is, and they should understand what players with modern expectations think when they approach this game. This flight model is the current one we have now is unlike anything in any game, and it doesn't make it unique, it makes it bad, because it's a bad flight model. And all this silly nuance that they think is skill is garbage. People aren't going to want to learn it, I shouldn't be expected to learn it. So this has been my rant about master modes. Thank you for listening. I hope it was insightful. I hope you disagree or agree and want to share it in the comments down below. And if you are one of those light fighter players, again, I'm not disputing your skill, but think about the health of the game. Think about how many people actually do Arena Commander. It's like the same 100 people. Now compare that to people who do the PU. And then let's compare that to how many people in the PU actually PvP. Quite a bit of them. And they're not doing it in AC. Don't be a gatekeeper. Think outside of your walled garden. Be more inclusive. Bring more players into the game. And the game should not require you to teach them. Because most likely, you're not going to teach them. You're going to keep the information for yourself. And that's where the game's going to come in. That's where the game's going to become understandable and hopefully easy to learn and difficult to master.